1968 Blackflower Drive is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to a Prisons Break production of 1968 Blackflower Drive, Episode 5, The Darkest Night, Part 1. The bright moon twinkles on the black liquid landscape of the ocean. A time has passed, and a sailboat drifts by. It is big enough to be a home for two, but small enough to be managed by one. A bearded man emerges from the cabin and checks the fishing lines attached to the stern. He looks out at the dark water horizon. It's peaceful, quiet. Then, in the distance, a foreign mechanical noise. He squints but can't see. He looks up at the stars, then back at the approaching sound and retreats into the cabin. The cabin is functional, with a kitchenette, a small dining area, captain's wheel and navigation desk. But it lacks a personal touch. No knickknacks or photos or keepsakes. We see the bearded man is Perry. He looks older, with dark circles under his eyes and a jagged horizontal scar across his face. He checks his coffee pot and pulls out 2 mugs, but thinks better of it and only pours coffee for one. Then he goes below deck.
Hey, just a heads up. Looks like we're gonna have company. I'll keep them up top.
Bearded Perry returns up deck and sits at the small dining area facing the approaching interloper. The mechanical noise is louder now. It's the sound of a helicopter. Bearded Perry pulls out an unmarked container of pills in Jackie's flask. He pops a pill, pours from the flask into his coffee and drinks. He waits patiently, sighing miserably. The amphibious military helicopter lands on the water beside the boat. In the dark, a few passengers board. They set up a mechanical device on the deck and place someone in it. Then they move him into the cabin.
What do you want?
Hey, Perry. How you doing?
What do you want?
How are we doing, Perry?
What do you want, Gil?
We need your help.
Now, please forgive me if I jump around with time. My memory can be jumbled every now and then, but I recall the night from earlier, the time when things really started to descend into the depths. I call it the darkest night. Back inside at 1968 Blackflower Drive, the entryway is only lit by Moe's camera light, big red. Curly enters first, tries the light switch, but nothing happens. He sniffs the air and scowls.
Oh my God! It smells like shit in here!
Moe steps in and winces. She starts yawning to pop her ears.
Oh, what's that sound?
You smell that, though, right?
Yeah, it stinks!
It stinks like shit!
I heard you the first time! I'm not deaf!
You hear that?
Curly covers his nose and blows. Lee enters.
It stinks like shit, and we got no lights?
By camera light, Lee pulls out 3 gas masks from his backpack, and they put them on. Then he pulls out 2 gas grenades. One he pockets, and one he holds. Then the 3 notice that they are standing in a streak of dried blood on the floor. They quickly step off it, and Moe follows the trail with her camera light. It tracks across to the living room and ends under a rug. Lee cautiously lifts the rug and the blood smear stops abruptly. Then Lee points to the floor. A large, dried, bloody stain where Cheryl Herring was, but no Cheryl Herring. Lee gestures for them to follow. They look a bit like astronauts on an alien planet with their gas masks and the single light of Big Red as they go through all the first floor rooms, ending in the study. They venture into the small room that has a desk facing a window that looks out onto the oddly beautiful African ebony wood tree in the front yard. Among the books on the shelves is an old brass sextant, and along the walls are various maps depicting the different stages of development in the town of Blackflower. One of the earlier maps revealed that the town's original name was Traiton. Lee sees an item on the desk. A low, deep-throated grumble permeates the air. Lee slowly looks to Mo, who slowly looks to Curly, who sheepishly grins and puts a fist to his chest.
Sorry. Those oysters are not agreeing with my tummy. Another. You should hear how it sounds in here. Ugh. Ugh. And how bad it smells in here.
Will you please shut up?
Curly lifts up his gas mask and mouths, "Sorry."
Oh my god. It smells like Sasquatch potty out here.
Mo slaps Curly's arm and they replace their gas masks. Lee gestures for Mo and she comes over and illuminates the desk with her camera light. It reveals an old-fashioned brass compass. Lee lifts it up and the three see that the needle of the compass is vibrating but consistently pointing. The face depicting north, south, east, west, however, is spinning wildly. Still in shock from nearly flipping her car, Side Chick frantically checks the dashboard for the small spider, then the back seat for her briefcase. Neither are there. She notices the state police cruisers, sirens blaring, bulleting past her. Has she gone completely paranoid? Blue and red strobes grow brightly around her while the last state police car pulls up behind her. Kitty corner. A fierce spotlight targets her car, but she is protected by her severely tinted windows. From the state police cruiser's loudspeaker, a voice.
Turn your engine off and stay in your car, Mr. Lenser.
Side Chick's panic returns. In the back seat where she thought she saw her briefcase, she spots a roadside emergency kit. She grabs it, opens it, checks on the state police car, then turns off her engine. Trooper Juanita Ramirez, a rugged woman with a ponytail and braces, sees Side Chick's brake lights go out. Trooper Ramirez steps out of her car with one hand on her holstered pistol and the other armed with a flashlight. Trooper Ramirez cautiously approaches Side Chick's car.
Mr. Lenser, roll down your window and slowly put your hands out, palms up. Mr. Lenser, are you okay? Are you injured? Honk your horn if you can hear me. If you're playing a trick on me, Mr. Lenser, you're not going to like my solution.
She waits a beat, then quickly rushes the car while pulling out her baton and raising it to smash the driver's side window all in one clean motion. As she strikes the glass, Trooper Ramirez screams in pain and falls to the ground. Her right ankle is bleeding and on fire. Side Chick rolls out from underneath her car and reloads her flare gun. She points it at Trooper Ramirez, who writhes in pain.
Handcuff yourself! Now! The next shot will kill you.
Trooper Ramirez cuffs herself and Side Chick kicks away the baton. Then she grabs the pistol from Trooper Ramirez's belt and shoves it in her skirt. While still aiming the flare gun, Side Chick retrieves a small extinguisher from the roadside emergency kit and puts out the fire on Trooper Ramirez's ankle.
Now, we're gonna figure out how I don't die tonight.
The Blackflower Sheriff Station is quiet. Jackie sits on the floor next to Kelvin. He is finishing up his weeping spell. Jody is still outside the cell.
Hey, how you feeling? Bit better? Kelvin, I have an important question to ask you. How would you like one of Maple Smith's chocolate chip muffins?
Yes, please.
Okay, Jody, why don't you bring that basket back here?
But what about...
Jody, now.
Copy that.
Oh, and in the mini fridge, there should be some milk. Bring that too, will you?
Copy.
You like milk, Kelvin?
Milky.
So why were you at 1968 Blackflower Drive?
I didn't know what else to do. She never came back.
Who never came back?
The doctor.
Dr. Peel?
No. She was a girl.
Do you remember her name?
Kelvin thinks hard. Jody returns with the basket, milk and 2 mugs. He opens his cell and Jackie takes them.
Go check on Ron and Dr. Peel.
But,
Jody, this thing is fragile. It might be too much for him, 2 on 1.
okay, but how did you know the bodies in the trailer were his parents?
It's in the pictures. She had a fake hip, and he had a steel plate in his head. Go.
With amazement, Jody walks away, checking his phone.
Dr. Circus. No, that ain't it.
That's okay, Kelvin. Here.
Jackie hands him a muffin, which he gingerly takes, but then ravenously scarfs down. He's already done when she offers him a mug of milk that he eagerly takes. As he drinks, Jackie secretly activates her digital recorder.
I'm real hungry.
I can tell. Slow down. You'll choke.
Like a little kid, he looks up at her with chocolate on his face, a milk mustache, and hope in his eyes.
More?
Okay. But slow.
She gives him another muffin, and with all of his will, he slowly bites into it and chews. She refills his mug and joins him in a muffin.
So, what was the doctor coming for?
The bodies.
Your parents?
Yeah. And Milky.
Your cow?
Uh-huh.
Did she tell you to burn the bodies?
They were contaminated.
How were they contaminated?
Sex flu.
Sex flu?
Yeah. Like crabs, but not crabs. You don't eat them.
Like gonorrhea? What?
It sounds like diarrhea.
It does, doesn't it? Was it diarrhea? Was it syphilis?
Sisyphus.
That's a bad sex flu, Kelvin. It can make you go crazy if untreated.
Dr. Circus, but not Circus, you know, tried to fix him with medicine shotters, but she said it might be too late. So Pop went crazy. He got mad all the time. He yelled at the walls and the sky and the TV and the ground and everything. Even us, it didn't matter what you did. If you did things wrong, he'd get mad. If you did things right, he'd get mad. And one night, Mama asked him too many questions. So he strung her up like a side of beef. But she was alive when he did it. I tried to stop him, but he hit me on the head and I went to sleep. And when I woke up, she was dead. And so was Milky. Pop said she was making too much noise. He clubbed her with a piece of metal.
I'm sorry, Kelvin.
They didn't deserve to die.
I know.
Mama was just worried, that's all. And Milky didn't know better because she was deformed like me. But Pop didn't mean it either. He got the sex flu. I mean, no one really means to kill, right?
Not this time. What happened to your father? Kelvin, what happened to your father?
I tried to do right.
You had to protect yourself?
I had to protect the town. Pop said he was going to kill every F-worder in town, so I hit him on the head with a car battery as hard as I could. Thunk! He fell on the floor, thwank, and he never got up. Even when I yelled at him. So I called Dr. Circus, not Circus, and she said to burn the bodies and everything he touched because they were all contaminated. And then that she was going to come and that she would take care of everything. So I did what she said, but she never came. Didn't I do right? I did right, huh? I mean, I tried to do right. Did I do right, Sheriff?
She takes a napkin from the basket and cleans his face.
You did good, Kelvin.
He puts his head on her shoulder.
Kelvin, why did you go to the house on Blackflower Drive?
I didn't know what else to do. She never came back. I was hungry.
What did you do?
I did a wrong thing.
You took a box of dishes.
I thought it was food.
What else did you do in there?
Nothing. But in there I saw nightmares.
What nightmares? Tell me, Kelvin.
From Ron's cell, Jody strains to eavesdrop. The ocean at night is oddly calm as Bearded Perry's boat lilts on the current. Inside, Gil is visibly frustrated as Bearded Perry casually pours from his flask into a cup of coffee. Gil notices.
You want a coffee for the road?
I see you've changed some of your ways.
But Blackflower House hasn't, has it? Just like I warned you 11 months ago? So, coffee?
It's not just happening in Blackflower.
What?
There's other places that are exhibiting unexplained phenomenon.
Where?
That's classified.
What's it doing?
Classified.
I don't understand what you want from me.
We need answers. We need someone to communicate with the old man.
The old man? He won't talk to me. He stopped, remember?
You were more successful than any other necromancer we employed.
What does that mean?
34. We hired 34 credible necromancers to communicate with the old man. Or with the spines.
The what?
The spines. It's what we call the skeleton creatures. It's kind of a code.
God. I dread to think what you guys are doing to that house.
We're better equipped now. It's safer.
Then why do you need me? You got 34 necromancers on your payroll, so I'm sure you'll be just fine. How many quit?
No.
Jesus. How many died?
413 deaths. Including the necromancers. Plus 77 that are dying.
Bearded Perry slugs his coffee whiskey and gets up for another round in the kitchenette.
That's not my problem. Coffee for the road?
Okay. I guess now is as good a time as any.
Gil sleekly fishes out a padded envelope from his briefcase. He places it on the table. It's marked classified.
What the fuck is that supposed
It's
to
the
be?
one piece of classified information that I can readily give you.
And you think whatever's in there is going to make me go back to that hellish place and work for you guys?
Gil only stares at him. Bearded Perry tears into the padded envelope and pulls out a plastic evidence bag. Inside is a cloth with writing on it.
Bullshit!
Bearded Perry throws his mug across the room.
We found it a few weeks back during one of our safe day searches. We didn't know it was authentic until we had it tested. It took us a while, but it's Violet's blood.
God damn you, Gil.
I'm sorry. I thought you'd want to know either way.
I'll need a few moments to gather some things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll need room for one more.
Okay. May I ask who?
Oh, it's classified.
Bearded Perry sets down the cloth and plastic and exits down below. Gil looks at the cloth. In dried blood, it reads, "They've got Mom." Back to the darkest night. Perry, from a few months ago, sits on the edge of his lazy boy in his living room, eating grapes like popcorn and indiscriminately flipping through the channels on his TV. He gasps suddenly. Christiane sits on the arm of the lazy boy.
Thought you were going to watch over our daughter.
I am. I can be here and still guardian Violet. I can do both.
Is that a mother thing or a dead thing?
And that was caustic.
So were you.
Oppress her and she will rebel. Or worse, you'll kill her insides. You think that's a good preparation for her for what lies for her after she passes?
So your solution is to get her killed now?
Living without risks births a vulnerable soul in the after. You told me that. You want her to be another Andy McCaniel? And he was somewhat prepared.
Loki, the ghost Great Dane, ambles in and curls up at Perry's feet.
I don't think she went for the right reasons.
For her love of an older man, or for a man who doesn't meet your expectations or standards?
I don't think she loves him. I think she likes him, cares for him, but I think she went for a darker purpose.
What?
I never told you about this, Chris. I've never told anyone about this, but when I talk to the dead, my heart stops.
I know.
But not just that, my entire body stops, as if frozen or suspended.
I know this, Perry.
What you don't know is that when my heart starts beating again and everything resumes, when I become alive again, it's hard to explain. The feeling is so, it's intense, like every drug at once, times a billion. But drugs make you lose control. This gives you control. As the blood rushes through your body, cleansing every organ, muscle, tissue, your mind gets such perspective. You feel like you know the universe, much less planet Earth. You feel like you are the universe, but it's not. It's more than that. I'm not explaining it right. It's
a good feeling, though, right?
It's good and bad. It's everything.
I think I understand. Life is gone from you, and when you get it back, you're able to appreciate everything it has to offer. Plus, you get to actually feel again, as if experience it for the first time, but with a memory of how it was with and without it.
I don't know. Something like that, I guess. It's just... Violet's gone through this twice now within 24 hours. That's too much too soon.
Do you think she can't handle it?
No, I think she's craving it.
Like an addict?
I'm telling you, you don't know this feeling.
When did you become so paranoid?
When everyone around me started dying.
Maybe she just wants to help.
Maybe.
Remember how we met?
Yeah.
If you hadn't risked that night, I wouldn't have met you or known you. Violet would never have been born. Your risks saved a life and created a new one. Risks can lead to death, but they can also birth life and enrich it and often define and inspire others. I think you've forgotten that.
I get it. I do. I wish I was with her.
Trust me. If things go wrong, I'll bring us both there.
Okay.
Now stay on one channel. I'm getting dizzy with all your flipping.
Why wouldn't you let me heal your wounds?
Christiane catches herself before speaking. Perry sighs. They hold hands and watch TV. At the Blackflower house, Lee follows where the brass compass points and leads the group to the staircase. They see the dried, bloody footprints up and down the stairs. Then they ascend the staircase led by the brass compass and camera light. Halfway up the steps, they are stuck with chronic decompression pains in their ears. The dark pulse of the ocean rises. After yawning, holding their noses and blowing and dealing with the acclimation, they continue up the stairs. At the top is the hallway with 4 doors. Lee checks the brass compass which points to the 3rd door, the door that is sometimes there and sometimes not. Lee points to the extra door and Curly checks with his mic. Curly shrugs. Lee tries the door, but it won't open for him. Then he tracks the bloody footprints that lead to the master bedroom. Lee has Curly check the door with his mic. Curly shakes his head. Lee readies one of his gas grenades. He pulls the pin, opens the bedroom door, and rolls the gas grenade in and quickly shuts the door. After a while, Lee checks his watch and points to Curly's mic. Curly shakes his head and shrugs. Lee nods, and they enter the room. The dark room is filled with smoke, creating odd shapes from the camera light. It's near impossible to know what exactly is in the room. Slowly, the smoke dissipates, revealing glimpses of horror. Suddenly, the lights turn on. The ceiling, walls, and floor are smeared with blood, organs, and skin. Open plastic containers and autopsy equipment litter the floor. On the bed, to complete the nightmare, is a pile of mutilated remains. Mo screams through her gas mask, drops her camera, and runs out of the room. Lee follows, but Curly remains. Mo races from the house out onto the street, rips off her gas mask, and aggressively tries to pop her ears. Lee chases after her and grabs her. She attempts to tear away, but his grip is too strong.
Get off of me!
What are you doing?
Get off of me!
You can't go! We have to do this now!
She punches him. Stunned and in pain, he lets her go and she races down the street.
You leave now. Don't come back.
Mo stops, considers, but then continues walking away. He follows.
Come on, Maureen, we need you. Maureen, who's gonna film this?
Mo disappears in the darkness of the dimly lit street.
Fuck.
He covers his nose and blows to pop his ears. He walks back to the house, defeated.
I can film you guys.
What?
Lee turns and sees Violet not staring at the house, but looking at him.
I can film you. I've mainly worked in still photography, but I know how to frame a shot, and I know how to capture important moments.
We need you out here.
He tries the door, but is locked.
The fuck? Curly! Let me in! Curly! God damn it!
He can't hear you, and you can't get back in.
I can't? I just walked out of here.
No, I let you out. After I let Mo out. Do you actually remember opening the door?
Wait a second.
I want to go inside, Lee. And if you want to go inside, you're going to need me.
You flashed me out.
Yeah.
Damn, Mo. You really know how to use Big Red?
Just aim and shoot, like a gun.
A little more complicated than that.
Not to me.
And guns kill people.
As does the right footage.
Lee picks up Mo's gas mask and offers it to her. She takes it and puts it on without hesitation.
If you could just flash in, why do you need my permission?
Put on your gas mask.
Lee starts to, and then flash. They are gone. Barry's Bar and Barbecue is half filled, but happy. Everyone's having a good night, drinking from unmatched glasses, mugs, plastic cups, and the like. Along the back of the bar, shelves of bottles of booze, but very few are name brands. On the wall is a list of Barry's home brews and cocktails. Barry, being an excellent host, manages to make sure everyone is served and in good spirits. However, he pays special attention to Mrs. Potterson, who is drunk but maintaining.
How you doing, Mrs. P?
Potterson!
Right, sorry. Forgot. Mrs. Potterson.
Yes.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm about one sheet to the wind.
You want another?
I suppose Perry is not coming into work today.
Suppose not.
He starts to pour her another glass of wine, but she waves him off.
Oh, no, Barry. I still have to have drum.
Pardon?
Oh.
Mrs. Potterson shoulders her purse and stands with a stumble.
Oh!
Barry is swift to catch her.
Oh, maybe closer to 2 sheets.
I'd say closer to 3 or 4. And what do we do if someone is 3 sheets or 4?
Give up your keys and drink some more!
You heard him, Mrs. Potterson. Let's have him.
Oh, this is preposterous. I know when I've had too much. I'm 85, and now I would like to have drive home. Man, damn it, I was a judge.
He raises his eyebrows, and she reluctantly hands over her keys. Then she leans in.
Barry, I don't think I can drive home tonight. I'm 85.
Well, there's a little room in the back with a few comfy couches if you want to rest for a bit. It'll be a few hours before I can knock off, and then I can take you home properly.
Well, maybe for a spell.
Whenever you're ready. Tip, the green couch is the best.
A female patron approaches the bar with a mullet and a t-shirt that has a car stopped in front of a kitten.
Bear, it's hot.
Sure thing, Suze.
Barry sets up 6 shots of homemade moonshine, and Mrs. Potterson notices the back of Susie's t-shirt. It reads, "I break for pussy."
Thank you, Barry. I underestimated you.
As did I you. Enjoy your rest.
Mrs. Potterson weaves her way through the room to the back door. She enters. Flipping on the light, she sees the room is clean and simple. Old posters of landscapes adorn the walls. On the 3 couches are folded blankets and pillows. In the center of the room, on top of the painted crate, is a pitcher of water with plastic cups and an empty bucket. She grins and shakes her head.
Oh, to be young.
She goes to the green couch and lays down. And she pulls out her phone and dials. Farshad goes about his place with smooth precision, finishing the final touches of a potentially romantic evening. Candles lit, incense burning, wine chilled, romantic music playing, and repositioning Mrs. Potterson's flower arrangement. He ends by staring into a wall mirror and repeating a phrase in Hindi.
मुझसे शादी करोगे?
The front door clicks, unlocks, and opens. Tabitha enters wearing her work clothes.
What a day. I need
Her
it.
cell phone rings and she retrieves it, but before she answers, she is distracted by the room's romantic settings.
What is this?
Tabitha, मैं आपसे प्यार करता हूँ. आप कभी अकेली नहीं होगी. मुझसे शादी करोगी?
That's beautiful. I got some of that you love me, something about me not being alone. What's the rest?
He glides up to her, holds her face, and kisses her. She drops all she was carrying, including her ring and phone, and melts into his embrace.
Farshad, you're the only thing that makes me happy. Where did you...
I apologize for interrupting. I could resist no longer. Would you care for a glass of wine?
Take me.
Tabitha?
Take me. I want to forget today.
They kiss. He picks her up and carries her into the bedroom. The room is elegantly decorated with candles, incense, masks on the wall. But instead of a conventional bed, a large bed of nails rests on the floor. Tabitha is visibly nervous.
Be gentle, please.
Tabitha, मैं आपसे प्यार करता हूँ. आप कभी अकेली नहीं होगी.
They kiss while undressing each other.
मुझसे शादी करोगी?
What does that mean?
He lays her gently on the bed of nails. The soft glow of the candlelight flickers on their naked bodies as they make love. Trooper Ramirez lies still as Side Chick goes through a small pile of belongings she has collected from the state trooper. Among them is her walkie-talkie that she keeps.
Hey, wake up.
She nudges the state trooper and she flinches, knocking her wounded ankle.
Officer Ramirez. Is that even your real name? Who? How do I get out of this?
What happened?
You passed out. How do I get out of this?
Did we crash?
You were about to kill me.
You were speeding. You swerved off and you almost flipped it to Lenser. You shot me.
You almost bashed my head in with your baton.
I thought you were injured.
And that's your solution.
Why am I cuffed?
'Cause you're gonna help me get out of this thing.
What thing?
Don't play dumb. I saw one of your detectives murder somebody today. In cold blood.
What? No. No.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So I know I'm in the shit. What do I do to get out of this?
I think you might know more than me. I'm a rookie. Almost 6 weeks out of the academy. They don't tell me anything, but I want to help. Okay. I believe you. I believe you. Right, the first thing we need to do is get me to a hospital. I am no good to you like this.
I need info. How do I get out of this?
I don't know anything. You gotta believe me.
Well, if you don't know anything, you can't help me. Why shouldn't I shoot you right now?
Because you haven't done anything yet, Rachel. Right now, I'm on your side. This ankle thing, it could be an accident. Not your fault. I could convince them of that. It's my word against it. Against no one's. The speeding, it's a ticket. That's all. I mean, pay a fine. But if you kill me, nothing cops hate more than a cop killer. You think you're in danger now? You pull the trigger and there is not a chance you'll ever be safe. That is the one thing I do know for sure about this.
I don't know.
Put down the gun, Rachel. Put down the gun. Let me really help you.
Side chick slowly lowers the gun.
Okay, good. That's good, Rachel. Now, uncuff me, please.
Hey, Ramirez, you take care of that Tullenser problem? Over.
Fuck!
Side chick grins horribly, raises her flare gun again, and picks up the walkie-talkie.
Detective Brooks. Long time no see. Let's talk, shall we?
As the military aquatic helicopter flies over the ocean, Bearded Perry sits inside beside a cloaked, smaller person. Across from them, Gil and one of his soldiers, Colonel Cole, curiously regards the cloaked individual as they exchange looks with each other.
Does your passenger want anything?
We're fine.
Perry eyes Colonel Cole, who was staring at the cloaked individual. Once caught, the soldier looks away. Gil pulls out a dense black file from his briefcase and hands it to Bearded Perry.
That's all the data we've recorded from the Blackflower house. At the end, there are several suppositions from our experts.
Bearded Perry skims through the black file, stopping at a section entitled Missing and Presumed Dead. Among the pictured are Cheryl Herring, Lee, Curly, Side Chick, Larry, Cheryl Lincoln, and Violet. He closes the black file and sets it down.
I know our intel might seem remedial or naive to you, but I figured you could possibly see through the cracks, garner some helpful insights.
Bearded Perry catches Colonel Cole staring at the cloaked individual again. Colonel Cole swiftly looks away.
Anything on the old man?
We believe he's Phillip Traiton. We just don't know if it's Senior, Junior, or the third.
That's it?
We can't communicate with them. That's why we need you. It's all in there. Read it, please.
I can't read in the helicopter.
Okay. Have you ridden in a helicopter before?
How long before we get there?
About 10 hours.
Hey, officer, you want to stop staring? Or you want me to seek out your dead relatives, find out what they got on you?
I'm sorry, sir.
Colonel, find out any updates on the Black House.
Yes, sir. Commander, patch me through to Black House, codename Ebenezer.
Ebenezer?
It's tough to communicate in here with the noise. I've got an important question for you, but I'll ask it later.
Bearded Perry nods with irony. Gil notices the cloaked individual reach out to hold Perry's hand. The hand is skeletal. Back at 1968 Blackflower Drive, on the darkest night, Lee follows Violet around the first floor as she investigates.
Come on, we've already checked this out.
She ignores him and continues on to the living room and stops at the throw rug where Cheryl B's dried blood smear ends. She stands there with an eerie focus on her face as Lee watches, patronizing her. After a while, she looks up, confused.
There's nothing here.
I know. Weird, isn't it?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know. And it smells like Bigfoot shit. Come on, I need you to film upstairs.
They go upstairs, popping their ears on the way. Violet pauses halfway down the hallway and stares at the wall where the door once was.
This isn't right.
Come on.
They proceed down the hallway into the master bedroom. Lee and Violet step into the blood and gore smeared room. Lee hadn't realized how gruesome the room actually was, and Violet is overwhelmed. Then Lee is struck by the oddity of Curly, focused on the footage from the autopsy camera which he holds in his hands as he sits on the bed amongst the severed flesh. Lee marvels as Curly casually lifts his gas mask, throws up on the floor, replaces the gas mask, and then returns to the camera. Suddenly, Violet screams and crumples to the floor. The whole scenario is fantastical. Curly acting so nonchalant and Violet in hysterics.
Lee, you gotta check this out. Mind the puke, though. Sorry about that. I think I got a bug. Hey, where's Mo? Why is she here? What's going on? Is she okay?
I don't know. Why don't you check on her?
Lee crosses over to Curly, careful to avoid the vomit, while Curly crosses right through it to Violet. Lee grabs the camera and recognizes it.
Huh. This is mine.
You all right, Violet?
She struggles to take off her gas mask.
You better leave it on. It stinks worse than a bathtub of whiskey farts.
She defiantly takes it off, then grabs Big Red and shoulders it.
Okay. What happened to Mo?
Violet shakes her head. Lee is engrossed watching the autopsy footage.
I don't know how they did it. I'll check the footage more thoroughly, but why would Cheryl lie about this? It's pretty convenient that all of those organs have been pulverized. Easier to stage this way. Harder to test. Shit. It'll be important to document. Are you good to film?
Uh-huh.
Okay, start with an establishing pan shot, and then go into...
All the doors, windows, and shutters in the house slam shut. They all jump.
Did that get you?
I pooped.
Did you get that?
Suddenly, the room shifts as if one side were being raised by giant hydraulics. They all have to adjust their footing.
What the shit is this? Is that a tornado? Is that earthquake? Is this a foreign invasion?
They notice the blood and guts on the walls are slowly leaking towards the lower side of the seemingly tilted room.
Are you getting this?
Lee sees that Violet has dropped the camera and is in the throes of a seizure.
Fuck!
Lee goes to Violet. Once he touches her, flash. Lee is gone.
Holy shit!
Stay calm. Stay calm.
Speak for yourself, lady.
I am.
Curly leaps over Violet's shaken body. He runs out into the hallway, but stops short when he sees the third door that wasn't there before. It is open, and the lights in the house go out. Curly shuffles along, blindly, down the hallway, breathing unsteadily in fear. A dull, green light flickers from below and beyond the staircase. Curly freezes in his tracks.
Lee? Is that you?
The green, flickering light grows stronger as it slowly approaches the stairs and begins ascending.
Lee? Cut it out. You got me, okay? You got me. Come on. No, come on.
The green, flickering light throws bizarre moving shadows as it draws closer. A vague, blackened, skeletal outline carries the ghost torch with fire that burns in reverse. Curly inches his way backwards, not sure where to go.
Okay. You win, Lee. You're the boss. You're the king. I'm sorry. Whatever you want. Please stop. Help. Help. Somebody help me. Help.
Another blackened skeletal creature backstabs Curly from behind with an Apache revolver blade. The approaching green ghost torch flame softly illuminates Curly as the Apache revolver fires twice into his gut. The other skeletal creature pins him down and the two converse in dead speak. In desperation, Curly pulls off his gas mask.
Please. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Mama, please stop.
The two blackened skeletal creatures begin eating him, biting his face and back and arms and neck. At the same time, Violet is still on the floor in the master bedroom talking to herself, but also simultaneously translating.
Stay calm. Stay calm.
One of the skeletal creatures feeding on Curly hears something from the master bedroom. It picks up the green ghost torch and creeps down the hall. The skeletal creature opens the door, but Violet is not there. It peers in, sees nothing, and goes back to its food in the hallway. Returning to the Blackflower Sheriff's Station, Ron is sleeping peacefully in his cell. Dr. Peel sits beside him, checking his pulse and talking to Jody.
Most people don't understand that, but I tell you, seriously, listening, really listening, is one of the most valuable tools a doctor can possess. It calms the patient to be heard. It builds their confidence to talk, and it instills trust to have someone listening and nodding to them. Pregnant women are especially receptive to this tactic. I tell you, Jody, it's better than...
Dr. Peel turns to Jody, but he's gone.
Well, that was rude.
Jody, unseen, has crept closer to overhear Kelvin and Jackie's conversation in Kelvin's cell. He looks unnerved. Kelvin sheepishly looks to Jackie, who sits in stunned silence.
Do you think I'm lying?
I don't.
Do you believe me?
I've seen some of the things you're talking about.
Flashing red and blue lights illuminate the cell. Jody scrambles away. Kelvin panics.
Fuck! State police!
Are they going to put me in the electrocute chair?
Kelvin, hey, if they come in here and talk to you, you only need to know one magic word. You believe in magic, don't you?
Yes, I
do. Good. You just keep repeating that one magic word until you get what you want. You got that?
What's the magic word?
Jackie smiles and whispers in his ear. Kelvin nods. She gives a confirming look to him and then leaves to Ron's cell. Ron is still unconscious. As Jackie enters, Dr. Peel looks up and is surprised to see Jody has returned.
How is he?
He's fine. What's going on?
Those are state police sirens, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're breaking protocol. You two stay here. I'm gonna check it out.
Well, I'll go with...
Stop interrupting me. You stay. I'll deal with this.
Copy.
Jackie exits to the front office. There are 5 state policemen crowding the area. One of them, a muscular man with a closely cropped haircut, Detective Hatch, steps forward. Jackie stands her ground.
I'm Detective Hatch.
What the hell are you doing in my jurisdiction? In my station? I did not invite the state police.
Excuse me, ma'am, in accordance with the Blackflower Devastation Clause of your town charter, we are here to temporarily take control of all proceedings.
The hell you say? You have no authority to usurp this department without my invitation. Who authorized this?
Detective Bricks will brief you on the details.
Oh, Detective Bricks. Of course. And where is he?
He will be in shortly.
Outside, then.
Jackie heads out to the front door but is stopped by the detective.
I'm sorry, ma'am. He's on an important conference call and not to be interrupted.
Jackie tries to push through, but there are 5 of them and only one of her.
Fine.
She pulls out her cell phone and dials.
Hi, Gil. I need a favor.
Outside the Blackflower Sheriff's Station, Detective Tracy Bricks leans against Dr. Peel's flatbed truck. He plays with a fidget cube as he talks on his walkie-talkie with an earphone. 8 other state police officers wait around.
Okay, is that it? Okay, Miss Talenter, I've heard your side of things, but I won't say any more on this matter until I speak with Trooper Ramirez.
How do I know you won't do some secret code with your lackey here?
Welcome to the big leagues, honey.
That's not an answer.
Hey, we had a chance to do this civilized back in the city, but you chose to run, which makes me suspicious. Now hand that goddamn phone over to Trooper Ramirez, or this negotiation is over.
Don't try anything.
Trooper Ramirez here.
How are you doing, Trooper Ramirez?
I'm okay, sir. She shot me in the foot. The flare gun. Sir, did you copy that?
I did. How bad is it?
I'll live, but if I don't get to a hospital soon, I'll probably lose the foot.
Stay strong, Trooper. We'll take care of this. Put Talenter back on.
Go ahead.
Now listen to me, you little Blackflower tweaker. Your next course of action will be to take Trooper Ramirez to the nearest goddamn hospital. Check her in and then surrender yourself to the authorities. Any deviation on those actions will result in a dire consequence for you. Accept your punishment, and you'll be dealt with fairly, Rachel. But defiance will be dealt with harshly. Do you copy, Tonser?
Why can't I just disappear?
Over and goddamned out.
Detective Tracy Bricks turns off his walkie-talkie. Then he dials on his cell phone.
Put me through to Ms. Circle.
Meanwhile, side chick fiddles with the walkie-talkie.
Hello? Hello, do you hear me? Detective, hello? What channel did he go to? How do I get him back?
He's done.
Fuck! Fuck, no! Fuck, I'm fucked. I'm gonna die. He's gonna fucking kill me. I'm gonna die.
She folds to the ground, defeated. Trooper Ramirez tries to move, but her ankle hurts too much.
There's another way. You don't have to die. There's another way out of this, Rachel. You don't have to die.
What?
Take me to a hospital and just drop me off. Just leave me there and take off. Go and hide. I'll keep him off your scent. Just stay out of the country, and if you can, just stay out of the state.
Why should I trust you?
As you can see, I'm not a prize beauty. Growing up poor and ugly, it wasn't easy for me. Had it not been for a simple lesson that my father taught me on a particularly bleak birthday, I would have become a heartless, soulless creature, a monster, machine. I just finished a grueling 18-hour shift washing dishes. It was 3 a.m. and I just turned 13. And he said to me, "Life is an earthquake, mi cielo. Learn to dance." I dance every day. Every time someone calls me butterface, monster teeth, or gash, or dyke, I go home and I dance. If I can't dance, the earthquake wins and I will get crushed. So if you don't want to bring me to a hospital so they can fix my foot, then point that flare gun at my face and shoot. And then take my service pistol and finish the job. If I can't dance, I don't want to live.
5 state policemen are making themselves comfortable in the small Blackflower Sheriff Station's main office. Jackie shakes her head as she talks to Gil on her cell phone in hushed tones. The front door opens, and in walks Detective Tracy Bricks.
Okay, do what you can, Gil. I'll talk to you soon. What the hell do you think you're doing?
No, hello, or how have you been?
Damn it, Tracy. You can't just storm in here and take over my department.
Yes, I can. And I don't even need your permission. But I will ask for your assistance in locating one of your citizens, a Miss Rachel Tonser.
Well, you're a fucking imbecile if you think I'm gonna help you.
Moments before, at the house on Blackflower Drive in the hallway, the black and skeletal creatures are devouring Curly. Perry and Krikorian suddenly appear downstairs, holding hands. Perry, startled, hears the gruesome noises from above and turns to Krikorian, mouthing, "What the fuck?" She responds without making a noise, telepathically. Curly screams and Perry charges for the stairs. Krikorian quickly regrips her hold on his hand. She looks at the ceiling as if mapping out the floor plan upstairs. She fixates on the spot, then they disappear. Perry and Krikorian materialize upstairs in the master bedroom, and although the room is still at a slant, this somehow does not affect their movements. They see Violet on the ground, convulsing. Perry breaks away from Krikorian and rushes to their daughter. However, once he loses physical contact with Krikorian, he vanishes. Krikorian frowns, but quickly notices the flickering green ghost fire right outside the bedroom door. She goes to Violet, holds her, and they are gone. The blackened skeletal creature carrying the flickering green ghost torch opens the master bedroom door, looks around, sees nothing, and then returns to the feasting of Curly. Perry materializes back home in his living room. The TV is on, and to his astonishment, he sees himself asleep in his lazy boy. The remote is still in his hand. He stares for a moment, looking at himself, and then Perry wakes up. The two personifications rejoin into one. He sits up with a jolt.
Chris, Violet.
He grabs his cell phone and dials. At the Blackflower Sheriff Station, in the front office, Jackie and Detective Tracy Bricks are staring each other down. His other officers watch in anticipation.
How's the diet? Looks like you've been hitting the sauce a little hard lately. You still smoke?
You still pretending you have a big dick?
All right, man. I'll check out the back room. Hatch, stay here. See if you can find the daily planner or Rolodex, something like that, with the contact information.
The four officers exit to the back room while Detective Hatch searches the two desks.
Why are you doing this? You know this'll destroy us.
Don't be so dramatic.
Look, I'm sorry I hurt you.
Oh, I think you're remembering that backwards, Miss Sheriff Milieu.
Maple's desk phone rings. Detective Tracy Bricks looks at the phone and then at Jackie.
Don't you have a receptionist?
She's off today.
How many people you got working here?
We do just fine.
Answer that, Hatch.
Blackflower Sheriff's Department, Detective Hatch speaking. Detective Hatch. Hold on. You're going too fast. Take a breath. Speak coherently.
A state trooper reemerges from the back room eating a chocolate muffin. He wears a condescending grin on his face.
Excuse me, boss?
What you got?
We got a Forrest Gump mute back there in one cell, and a deputy with a burned-off face in another. Get this, he's being treated by an animal doctor and got it by a real-life Barney Fife.
Who? Jody bursts his way through the door, trips and falls flat on his face.
I told you.
I'm sorry, Sheriff.
Don't worry about it. How's Ron?
Okay, they're talking to Kelvin.
That's so.
3 state policemen surround Kelvin in his cell.
Lawyer.
Back in the front office.
Doing just fine, eh, Jack?
Sorry, boss. I got some nut job here yammering about his daughter being trapped in a house on Blackflower Drive.
Jackie dons her poker face, but Jody gasps. Detective Tracy Bricks catches it.
What is it?
Nothing. Local shit.
Jackie casually grabs her things and exits, followed by Jody, Detective Tracy Bricks, and his men. Outside, in the Blackflower Sheriff Station's overly crowded parking area, she goes to her cruiser and gets in.
Maybe we should cover this one. You seem overworked and understaffed.
I'm fine. Really. Just boring local stuff. Deputy Jody? Stay here?
But I think...
Blackflower Drive. I've heard some rumors about that place. Doesn't sound boring to me.
Detective Tracy Bricks signals his men, who all jump into 5 of the remaining vehicles.
Deputy Jody, I need you here. We need someone from Blackflower to hold the fort here.
Copy that, Sheriff.
Jody heads back into the station.
I'm telling you, Bricks, you're gonna regret it.
The only thing I regret is our conversation about you wanting to move in with me and get married. I think pleading and crying were involved. Definitely desperation.
Jackie spots the old, stale donut on her passenger seat and tosses it at him.
Here, have a donut.
It hits him square in the groin, leaving a chocolate 0 on his pants. He watches and grimaces as the cop cars drive off. Detective Hatch approaches him.
Stay here. Hold the fort. Sir? They got about 300 people living in this shithole of a town. A big news day here is a cow falling down a flight of stairs. I'm sure you'll manage with Barney Fife in charge.
Yes, sir.
Who? That bitch is going down.
His grimace evolves into a nasty grin as he wipes off his crotch and goes to his cruiser. Lee appears in the cellar of 1968 Blackflower Drive. It's dark, dank, and he stands in 6 inches of cold water. He can barely make out the shape of the oddly long but curved, edged room. Shaking his head, confused, he tries to adjust to the dark.
What the hell?
He flicks on the camera in his hand, turns around and points the light at the sound. A blackened skeletal creature sits in the water, hunched over, back to Lee. Lee swings the camera over, revealing another blackened skeletal creature, sitting hunched, facing away.
Shit.
All the while, Lee is mesmerized, but not scared. He takes off his gas mask and approaches the closest of the creatures. He crouches before it. Lee raises the creature's head and investigates. The skull is black from rot. A glistening, slimy residue coats it like a clear, wet skin. Suddenly, the skeletal creature shifts and brushes Lee's hand away.
What the fuck?
He watches in amazement as the creature lowers its head again in a hunch. Lee checks the blackened skeleton for wires or hydraulics, catching it all on camera but finding nothing.
How the...
Lee returns to face the crouched creature and raises its skull again. This time, the creature seems to glare right back at him, and in a low, disturbing grumble, it speaks. Lee's jaw drops as he witnesses the out-of-sync syllables of the unintelligible language of dead speak, with the slow opening and closing of the skull's mandible.
I admit, pretty damn cool. You want to tell me what your plan is with all this?
Lee is vaguely aware of the flash and splash behind him as Violet appears in the cellar. The blackened skeletal creature before Lee stands to its full height, towering over him. A realization dawns on his face.
I get it. It's so simple. 2 corpses found that cannot be identified. Another incident with a victim has vanished with only hysterical stories and shoddy footage as witnesses. Involve the inept local police and finally get the story out statewide with a credible yet independent source. Hence, Team Iris. You're trying to make one of those extreme haunted houses. Well, consider me sold. With my footage and reputation, it's happening.
Step away, Lee. It's not a greeting.
Oh, you can understand him. How convenient.
Violet is wet from appearing in the 6 inches of water. She is shaken as she approaches the blackened skeletal creature while using dead speak. Lee shrugs and smiles and films the two.
What did he say?
I don't know. Something like we're not really here, or we shouldn't be here, or something about abandoning.
What'd he say?
I think he asked if I was dead or a ghost, maybe.
Violet Morbus, are you a ghost?
We are victims!
The blackened skeletal creature's voice thunders so loudly, the room shakes.
Holy fuck! I think I might have just blown out the microphone.
Lee notices 30 more skeletal creatures in the room. All are focused on the conversation between Violet and the creature. Violet kneels into the water with head down.
Once you visit death, you become death.
The entire room starts vibrating and turns on its side. Everything flows and falls to the side wall, including Violet and Lee. Even the blackened skeletal creatures are victims to the preternatural gravity.
What the fucking...
Ice-cold salt water floods into the room.
What did you say to him?
I asked about Larry. You are doomed.
Violet scrambles to Lee and grabs him, but he pulls away. Violet vanishes, but Lee remains.
Fuck me! This is amazing!
Krikorian materializes on the sidewalk outside of the Blackflower house. She has a quick moment to see that Violet is not with her. Then Violet appears. She is wet and falls to the ground, convulsing. Krikorian goes to her, careful not to touch her.
Honey, come back. Go away. Go home. I wish your father was here, Violet. Listen to me. You can't control your powers, so you need to stop this. Your father was right. You're not ready. Come back. Come back to this world.
Basking in the gentle candlelight, Farshad and Tabitha lie next to each other, naked, on the bed of nails. They relish in their post-coital pleasures in Farshad's bedroom.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yes?
Yes, of course. That was amazing.
I'm glad.
You're amazing.
As are you, sweetheart.
Ooh.
It's the bed of nails, isn't it?
It's just hitting my hip wrong. I'll get used to it.
Come here, on top of me.
What? No, it'll be too much.
Trust me.
She crawls on top of him.
Better?
Much. Thank you.
Tabitha, मैं आपसे प्यार करता हूँ. आप कभी अकेली नहीं होगी. मुझसे शादी करोगी?
What does that mean? Please tell me, Farshad.
Well, the first phrase is, I'm sure you know, is I love you.
Yes, I love you too.
The second phrase is I don't want you to be alone ever again.
I don't want to be alone.
Good. It makes the last phrase easier to say. Or shall I say, ask. Tabitha, will you marry me?
Seriously?
Ouch.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Farshad, are you really asking me?
Tabitha, मुझसे शादी करोगी?
मैं आपसे प्यार करती हूँ.
The candles in the room have melted down and flicker on discarded clothes on the floor. Amongst them is a shiny piece of particular jewelry. A large satanic ring. Perry skids his car to a stop at 1968 Blackflower Drive and jumps out. He runs to Violet, who is still convulsing.
Thank God.
Honey, I need you to start your heart again. Can you hear me?
He wraps his coat around her and cradles her in his arms.
Careful, Perry. She's out of control.
Whose fault is that?
Yours.
Perry holds Violet intensely and everything freezes. Except the two of them. Violet stops convulsing and looks at Perry.
Daddy, it's bad in there.
I know. That's why I wanted you to stay away.
I wanted to help.
I'm glad to hear that, but right now, I need for you to start your heart again. Feel the pulse. Find it in your heart.
He taps her wrist with a soothing, steady pace. Violet concentrates and everything unfreezes. Sirens are heard in the distance.
Mom, Dad, Lee is still in there.
Lee, I thought you liked Larry.
Mom!
Do you like Lee now?
It's not about who I like. There's Curly. Oh, I think that he's in there too. They'll die in there. They don't understand what is happening.
Violet, we can't save everybody.
If you really believed that, you would have let me kill myself.
By not believing it, I got you killed anyway.
If you don't do anything, I'll go back in myself.
No!
You know that you can't stop me.
All right, we'll go in, okay? You stay here. When the police get here, only talk to Jackie, okay?
Okay.
Where's Lee?
I think he's still in the cellar. I don't know where Curly is.
Okay, look. Don't try to connect or communicate with us or anything in that house. Stay here and let Jackie take care of you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's go.
Remember, don't let go of my hand.
She grabs his hand and they vanish. Violet stands alone facing the house, shivering underneath Perry's coat. Jackie pulls up in her sheriff's cruiser, followed by 6 state police cars. A muffled, horrific scream escapes from inside the house. Jackie steps out of her vehicle, as do the state police. Jackie approaches Violet cautiously. A few of the state police pull out collapsed batons. They press a button and the batons immediately extend. Detective Tracy Bricks signals his men to hold back. The red and blue flashers from the police cars cast eerie shadows on the house, making it look alive. Bearded Perry wakes up from a nightmare, no longer in a helicopter, but in a securely armored military automobile. The cloaked individual rests in his lap. Gil sits across from them.
Morning. Did you sleep well?
Bearded Perry looks out the window.
This place has changed.
Blackflower has changed. Many of the houses have been restored, and now there are more shops. Nothing fancy, mostly practical stores. But there is something odd about it. It doesn't seem like a natural development, but more like a manufactured town. And almost everybody he sees walking around is wearing a military outfit.
Well, we had to set up camp.
I see that. Oh, do me a favor, turn here.
Gil taps the glass and tells the driver to turn. The driver gets on a walkie-talkie and alerts the escort cars to follow. They turn down the street and pass by Barry's Bar and Barbecue, which is still there, and it appears to have made some renovations. Perry's flower shop is still there, too. Bearded Perry turns to Gil, who smiles.
Mrs. Potterson took over your shop.
That would be her.
I have to ask you a question.
Not yet. Let me see the place first and get my guests situated.
Of course.
When they arrive at the Blackflower house, the cloaked individual sits straight up.
You don't have to go inside. You stay here, okay?
Bearded Perry steps out of the car while 2 men rush up and help Gil into his wheelchair. The house at 1968 Blackflower Drive has changed too. Chunks of its face have been removed, and in their place are futuristic-looking equipment, sensors, and computers. Tubes and wires flow out of the house as if it were a lab rat or on life support. Scientists in 2 different outfits, one military, the other Jupiter Enterprises, operate the machines and take notes. A secured scaffolding surround the structure like an exoskeleton. Heavily armed guards line the perimeter along with 3 tanks and a military-grade fire engine. Ms. Circle, wearing her stylish gloves, arrives and heads toward Gil and Bearded Perry.
Welcome back, Mr. Morbus.
This has been 1968 Blackflower Drive, starring Brian Dullaghan, Brittany Joyner, Brett Pearsons, Ken Weiler, Amy Procacci, Marypat Farrell, Max Cook, Adam Sholder, Sarah Atwood, Scott Conte, Douglas Sarine, Reasha Honaker, Darcy Silveira, Sarah Pryzibilla, Saahil Anand, Stefan Marks, Kevin Dorff. Written and directed by Brett Pearsons. Executive producer, Sarah Pryzibilla. Original score and sound design, Brett Pearsons. Audio engineering, Sarah Pryzibilla. Special thanks for this episode to Michael Krikorian and Geoff Dunbar. Episode 6, coming soon.